Welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg, your host, broadcasting live from Roseville, Minnesota. MAGA Jesse, what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, we got some big things to discuss. Obviously, the news has been surrounding everyone. Everyone's been talking about Justin Eichorn, Senator Eichorn, who has been caught in a pedophile sting operation. We'll be discussing all of the details surrounding that and the new federal charges that are after him. We'll discuss the Senate District Special Election that will now take place, everything that took place on the floor of the Senate, because Eichorn has officially resigned as of today. We'll be talking about how Tim Walz says he can beat up MAGA. That should be interesting. I think he's compensating for being so feminine. And we got some good stuff for the post show as well, so stuff that people will not want to miss out on.
Make sure to click and hit subscribe if you're not doing it on whatever platform you're watching it on. If you want to interrupt us anytime, hit that Rumble rant. If you're on Rumble watching it, hit that Rumble rant and we'll go live to your comment. If you're watching after the fact, hopefully you could join us. We're live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. Whenever the news is delivered to us, it's hard to do a show. The people that do a show every day, I mean, like, you kind of have to make up stuff in some regards because sometimes the news cycle's slow. In other days, I can't wait to get here and actually talk about the things, which will be today's show. And I think, Jesse, this might be the last time we talk about it because it's former Senator Justin Eichorn at this point. Mm-hmm. The Republicans were going to expel him today, and it would have been a really interesting vote if the Democrats said, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, give you a glimpse on how things work, some of the nuances, and maybe debate some of the case of Justin Eichorn. Okay? Definitely glad that guy's no longer a state senator. What a scumbag. And I'm just going to say this before we get into the content. Really feel bad for his family. I just assume his wife didn't know. He has 4 kids. The dude paraded them out on the campaign trail. They're public part of his public image. We were this close to showing his website, and I was like, let's not show it because his kids and his wife are right there. And a guy that runs on like traditional family values was soliciting a prostitute, in this case, one he believed to be under the age. Now, there actually isn't an individual. It was a sting operation by the Bloomington police.
Right. I feel the same way, though, about his family. It's completely awful, the worst possible thing that could happen to them because obviously none of this is any of their fault, but they have to certainly pay some of the price for it, and it's all because of, it's just awful. I feel the same way. Nobody should be bothering their family during this time, but, he obviously has to pay the price for doing what he's trying to do.
I mean, you could just be a good individual, a good husband and father, and you don't do this to your family. So, I mean, it's like, I've said this to a lot of people, like the show Breaking Bad. You know what that show to me really is about? One lie and how one little lie can manifest into ruining a family and people's lives and stuff like that. Because the little lie was, he's going to sell a little bit of meth to help out his family because he had cancer. And it's like, that's life. Like, one little lie can manifest into something so bad, and to the point where he might be behind bars for 10 years. His wife and children are it's going to impact the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. It's going to hurt the Republican Party. It's going to hurt the institution of the Senate. Staffers probably get fired, because now they lost an employer, he owns businesses. Like, the ramifications of this little lie, which to him was soliciting prostitutes on the side. It's just a terrible thing. We'll get into that story. This episode is brought to you by Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty. If you're looking to buy a home or sell a home, give Warren a call at 612-419-7453. Not only is he a great real estate agent and thinks the way you and I do, but he sings in my church choir, so the guy's a good guy, right? That's Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty. And if you're looking to buy a home, give the good guys at John Galt Mortgage a chance at financing that home. You're going to go to johngaltmortgage.com. Check them out on Facebook and X. Great top-notch meme game. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. Also brought to you by Alpine Cabinetry in the wonderful St. Cloud, Minnesota. A lot of Patriots up in St. Cloud, Minnesota. The owner of Alpine Cabinetry is just one of many good people up in that area. Okay, so let's get into this. Right when we went live, what was it, about a half hour before we went live, Dawson? Something like that. The breaking news story was Justin Eichorn, who is a Senate Republican from Senate District 6. Is it 6, not 5? 6, right?
Senate District 6. Right.
Yeah. We just went through redistricting recently, so I'm always having to remember which district. So, Senate District 6, it was announced that he had been arrested for trying to solicit, at the time, a 16-year-old for prostitution. This is how bad the corporate media is. One journalist, one person gets that wrong, the age 16, and they all just copy it. Actually, you know what? Wasn't that a press release by the city of Bloomington? Maybe that's where it came from.
Right. That's my understanding, too, that initially there were a press release that was put out by the Bloomington police. One of them had said 17, which was on their website. And then another one had said 16, which was the one that appeared to be, circulating social media. So I'm not sure exactly how there were multiple versions of a press release, but it does appear that the rumor had started based on that press release.
By the way, we'll tell you why that actually makes a difference. Because when you look at Minnesota statute, 16 and 17 comes with different penalties. In fact, it's double as bad if the person's 16.
Who would have put out that press release? Was that the police?
I had only seen a screenshot. I looked at Bloomington's website, and
I've
did
got
not
it linked
see.
in my article, which we have on the show notes.
Yeah, well, you probably got linked to the one that I saw that actually said 17.
Yeah.
All I saw was the media reporting on one. I saw a screenshot, but I never found that anywhere in the World Wide Web. All right, so let's go into the bigger issue as I see it. On yesterday, it was announced that the FBI has a special investigator or special FBI agent who's also pursuing this case based off the evidence that was collected by Bloomington police, and they're going to charge him with a federal crime. Dawson, let's go ahead and pull up the A1 because I know a lot of you guys probably haven't seen this before. Where'd it go on my computer? Here we go. Let's go. So first of all, this is United States of America versus Justin David Eichorn. So he is being charged with federal crimes. That crime is U.S. Code 18 2422B. And I'll read that in a bit, okay? But I want to go through everything in this case. Now, first of all, we were going through this in the pre-show. The investigator here, scroll down, it's Vogel, something like that. Matthew Vogel. Yeah, Matthew Vogel. Okay. This is totally unrelated to the subject matter, but he has to attest with the court that, he is an expert in this case. And scroll down on the second page, Dawson. It literally says, I have gained knowledge and expertise through training at the FBI Academy and service training in everyday work in conducting these types of investigations. I have received training in the area of child pornography and child exploitation investigations and have reviewed numerous examples of child pornography in various forms of media, including computer media. Part of the discussion we're going to have is there is a little bit of entrapment by the government here in this case. And I don't know if I've got a conclusion on it because I do think, in my opinion, is that it's good that we're trying to find these people that would be sexual predators. And this is the thing that hit me in that movie Sound of Freedom when, it's like if you're gonna charge someone of possessing child pornography, somebody has to review the material, for prosecution. You can't just say, well, this guy's got child pornography. I mean, do juries look at that? I can't imagine juries have to look at, but someone's got to attest to it. I totally unrelated to the case here. Just was like, wow, like what a freaking terrible job. The sense that you got to be subjected to it, but somebody has to do it. Otherwise, you can't prosecute it. We got a rumble round. Let's go to it.
Let's see. Fail Cannon, $5 rumble rant says, Wednesday, Walter is a hypocrite. If the Senate was tied, the guy would have played it the same way as the Democrats. # protect the incumbents. And
yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously it would have been interesting to allow this thing to actually have a floor vote in the Senate since they didn't allow that to have, I guess since Eichorn resigned, that didn't need to be taking place. But I think that all the Republicans were going to get on board with his removal.
Here's why I disagree with it. Okay. The Republicans, for two reasons I disagree with this. The Republican Party at least has some bit of standards. They have a lot of hypocrites, no doubt about it. Obviously, Eichorn's a hypocrite. But at least they have a little bit more decency and standards on holding their people accountable. The Democrats used to be this way, by the way. It's not always been this way, but the Republicans seem to at least have some standard. There's some people in the Republican Party that actually think maybe we should stop endless wars and endless debt. You see what I'm saying? So there are parts of the Republican Party that actually hold themselves accountable, and the caucus seem to be willing to expel them. The other thing is Republicans in the state are giant pussies and always get outplayed by Democrats on the politics, which I'll give you a great example. So I don't know if
Yeah, and even if the Senate was a tie, the Republicans wouldn't be at an advantage to keep Eichorn in the Senate, considering the fact that he's going to be in jail, and considering the fact, I mean, it would be a great legal test to see, can someone vote from jail? Can someone call in their votes to John Jasinski and say, this is the way that I'd like to vote on legislation? It'd be an interesting legal test, but obviously the Republicans don't want to be put in that position either. The Republicans don't have a majority in the Senate regardless of what they do, so they might as well as do the right thing. And but it's disappointing that they were never allowed to be put on record, because that would have been an interesting vote.
Well, and by the way, they need to disown this guy. I mean, we would have been condemning them. I mean, maybe you guys are right. I don't know. But we would have been condemning it, because even if you get past the legality of the issue, it's going to be one of two things. Justin Eichorn is a piece of shit who literally is ruining lives because of his own decisions for sexual gratification. Or two, this is the biggest corrupt law enforcement activity trying to frame a state senator, because it's pretty much got to be one of those two things, because you got to imagine they have the evidence, right? Like, they're either lying and they don't have the evidence, and you would imagine they've got the evidence and this guy's lined up. By the way, we know we're right because the guy resigned, right? So I mean, you don't resign, and if you have you're pleading, you got innocence. And by the way, it would be the biggest story ever. They're trying to frame a state senator. I think no one's making that argument around here, okay? All right, so let's go to the bottom page 3 here, Dawson, under probable cause. As I know a lot of you guys probably haven't seen this. This is about a 12-page document. And this is what happened, all right? Oh, I want to stress, this guy should resign. He should have been expelled. I think politically he should have been expelled. I don't think they should accept a resignation. They should have expelled the hell out of him and made the Democrats vote on it and see what the Democrats were going to do. See if they were consistent and gave him his day in court. But this guy should have resigned. You're going to go through this. You're going to see that not only has this guy done something very wrong, in my opinion, morally, but also he's probably done it before, given the language. And luckily they got footnotes for us, because the lingo none of us know, so we're going to be able to break it down with the footnotes. So on or about March 12th, 2025 and March 13th, 2025, Bloomington police detectives carried out a multi-jurisdictional sex trafficking juvenile demand suppression operation. According to Bloomington police, the purpose of this operation was to identify individuals who offered to hire girls under the age of 18 for commercial sex. By the way, I got to look at my calendar. So the 12th was a Wednesday and the 13th was Thursday. So he was in the cities and session was going on. They would have had a Senate floor session on the 13th, right,
At
Jesse?
some point, he asked her if she wanted to come to his apartment. Would that be the apartment that...
I can't imagine that, right, Dawson?
that's crazy.
Because fellow senators, I'm assuming he's got an apartment with all the rest of them, where they're all
Right.
just drinking buddies over there. And they would have saw this like young girl leaving. I'm sure they're all used to each other like sleeping around on their spouses. That's nothing new at the Capitol, by the way. But when it's like a girl that looks like well, first of all, it could never happen in this case because there was no girl, right? It was fictitious. But if that did happen, because he believed it was a girl and she looked that young, I'm pretty sure that would have. I can't imagine he would have done that, but maybe.
It would have been a pretty big story if he came walking out of his apartment room with a another 40-year-old FBI agent, though. You gotta.
Well,
wonder.
it's been a pretty big story. You know, Vale Can. So true. There is no way this guy had never done this before. He should have been expelled and castrated. Just get ready for it. On and before these dates, employees of one or more Minnesota law enforcement agencies placed advertisements for commercial sex on at least 2 identified websites known to myself and other law enforcement officers to facilitate human trafficking, amongst other things. These websites are publicly available on the internet. In my training and expertise, I'm aware that both of the identified websites are commonly used in both adult and juvenile human trafficking schemes. These sites allow users to post descriptive narratives and upload photos and videos. The advertisements posted by covert law enforcement included 3 to 4 photos of a female. One of those photos depicted a female in a white shirt and black underwear. The lower half of her face was visible. In another photo, a female wore a black shirt and shorts. I wonder if those are AI. Do you ever think about that?
I hope so. That would probably be an effective use of AI, though. Saying, AI, please generate images of
17-year-old?
like, ugh, gross.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I'd imagine they're using of age people, to trick these people, and
Like To Catch a Predator.
yeah,
Like,
right.
for sure.
It's the same as like Chris Hansen or any of these pedo hunters that you see on YouTube.
All right. There were variations of the undercover law enforcement advertisement posted during the operation. However, they all were variations of the same information. Here we go. Ready for it? Come spend time with me. Oh, you know what? I just hit me. Stupid me. Okay. Just those two ways that they put it references prostitution. Did you
Right,
catch that the first time?
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't
the
catch
dollar
that.
sign.
Yeah. Right? All right. So do I need to specify the first word there? All right, come spend time with me. Age 18 I am. A woman. What is a woman? I see men only. Hi, I am. And then should we make up a name for this person? Because this whole thing will read better. What would be the name of a underage prostitute that the FBI would use?
I don't know. Is this entrapment? Are you trying to entrap me right now?
Kitty? Kitty. Should we use Kitty?
No, that
What would
sounds
they do?
awful.
Oh, no, I meant like Kitty.
Would it
Yeah,
be-
no, I didn't even think of that.
Would it be like Candy?
Candy? Okay, we're going to use Candy, okay?
This is the
why
worst.
is my pen
This
not
is the
working?
worst, by the way.
Well, no, but when we read
It's
the
important.
script, it's better if you have a name, just FYI. Okay, I don't know why that pen's not working. These are the best pens. So men only. Hi, I am Candy. Ready to please. I do both an in-call. Oh, and by the way, in-call is meaning coming to them, right? We get that right? In my training experience, in the context of this investigation, the term in-call is meant to convey that clients are expected to come to the location of the female. Oh, so you got to come to her to engage in commercial sex. City, Minneapolis, Minnesota, name, location, Bloomington. Some of the advertisements had height, weight, and breast size information. After posting the advertisement on 2 websites, Bloomington police know that other scraper websites picked up the advertisements and further publicized those advertisements. In my training and expertise, I'm aware that scraper sites trawl these types of sites, that is, sites involved in human trafficking, for content and repost that content in order to for content and repost that content in order to draw traffic, thereby generating advertising revenue. Law enforcement agencies participating in the Bloomington undercover operation assigned undercover law enforcement officers to work as, quote, chatters. Chatters are undercover law enforcement officers assigned to receive incoming messages from persons containing the phone number posted in the advertisement. These chats largely occurred via text messaging using VoIP. Okay. On or about March 11th, 2025, the undercover law enforcement phone number received text messages from, now the first 6 are X'd out, but then it's 9711. I never even checked to see, but I mean, assume that's his cell phone. Would be interesting to see if it's like a burner phone.
I can look real quick while you're reading.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting if that is his. I mean, wait, don't look. What does it matter? What does it even matter?
I mean,
Why don't I just stay focused on this stuff? There's so much red meat in this. Why do we even care if he's using a burner phone? I mean, unless he was just
He
trying
had
to
two.
be.
I think they said he had 2 cell phones when he
think
was
you're right.
arrested.
Yeah, none of these numbers.
Oh, that's right, he did. But when I saw that, I took it as like something related to work. But yeah, that's a good
None
point.
of these numbers, or that 9711 number, doesn't show up on his website or anything like that. So.
Well, it might not be on his website. Hey, I mean, I got all the numbers of the legislators, so I could look that up too. These texts included, "Hey, Candy, I saw your post, and chance you are still available tonight." And later, "What's a guy got to do to get with the hottest girl online tonight?" Now, once again,
Smooth.
I'll just quote the great Senator Nick Frentz, Democrat Senator from Mankato. We need to see all the evidence. He needs his day in court, just like, Nicole Mitchell, right? But my thinking here is, unless this is some big conspiracy by law enforcement to frame a senator, quite frankly, no one knows. And when they finally saw the picture, they look at him and go, "Oh, yeah, I could see that," Right? Right, Dawson?
It's just.
I mean, it's like they always look that way, right?
It's so bad.
I love the show Kill Tony, that comedy show. And it's funny, like, once someone gets done with their minute, they get 1 minute stand up. Anytime someone has got the creepy, like, pedo vibes, Tony's always like, it goes to it. He rips on the person for having that look because there's a look. And that looks kind of varies in many regards, but there's a look to it.
You can see that look on our thumbnail that we used today.
I know. So then the question is, maybe we should just look at all the profile pics. That's what we should do. That'd be fun entertainment. We look at all the images of all the state senators in Minnesota. Party doesn't matter here. And we go, what are they guilty of?
Yeah.
And see how many more people that would be soliciting prostitutes are on there. I'm guessing 3. And there's only 67 senators. So I'm guessing, what's that, 5%?
That's a pretty low ball. I'm interesting.
Well, if we added Coke and we added Dewey's, then we're probably at about 80%.
Yeah.
All right, on or about March 11th. Here. On or about March 12th, 2025, the suspect again contacted the undercover phone number asking if Candy was available today. An undercover law enforcement officer responded, "Hey, baby, I am." The suspect replied, "Awesome. Where are you at, and what's your rate?" So here we go. Now, I mean, I guess technically the ad suggested she wanted money, but now he's actually asking for money or asking what he's got to pay. And this is going to come in handy when we show you the law. Also on March 12th, the suspect asked, QV or HHR, how old are you? Okay, QV means, what was that one? QV.
It says down there, quick visit. And HHR is half an hour. So he obviously has this, the lingo down. There was a comment here that was
Brad
discussing that. Basically the fact that he's got the lingo down, it's clear that, in my mind, that this wouldn't be his first time if he's asking for a QV. I mean, nobody knows what that is.
Yes, because it's in the footnotes here, and it says roughly 15 minutes.
Right. And I also see Mickey Murray in the comments says, messy. Nice to see Mickey in the comments. Been a little while since we've seen you live. And Phil Can says the creeper confirmed with her that she was a minor. We'll get into that through the full discussion that's in here.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of you guys haven't seen this yet. So, and then of course, there are people probably outside of Minnesota that aren't even privy to the story yet. I saw some clever leftists going, it's interesting Fox News hasn't done a story on this yet. It's like, I'm imagining they have, but yeah, interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, in my world, I criticize both parties. I think most of these people are corrupt scumbags, right? Like, quite frankly, just not shocked when any of this kind of stuff comes out. The only real victim here, in my opinion, is his damn family and maybe close associates and friends who are outside the realm of politics because it's not their fault. But, I mean, geez. He without sin cast the first stone up at in the Minnesota Senate. I mean, literally, Democrats have a senator who I would argue may have done something worse than Eichorn. She actually broke into the home of an elderly woman, entered her bedroom, and the woman was fearing for her life. And I got to say, what are the odds she was trying to actually physically harm her stepmother? It's not 0%. Now, I'm not saying it's above 50. I don't know. But certainly the mother was scared out of her wits while she called 911, and then Senator Mitchell went into the basement. And that person's still a voting senator in the Minnesota Senate. What were you going to say, Dawson?
It was, on Twitter, that thing where, like, Fox News hasn't said anything about it yet. The one that I saw on Twitter everybody was getting peeved over was the Libs of TikTok, whatever that account is. They typically will point out predators, but they haven't yet for this one. He's, like, nobody knows about him, so.
Right. Well, the problem is both parties have this issue, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Okay. That's actually what I posted on Facebook when this story came out on Tuesday. I go, well, I know I'm not supposed to criticize Republicans. Wednesday Walter always tells us that. So I'll just post this here, like, it's like, no, this is the way I look at these people. Like, I don't associate with these people. By the way, in our post show, we got to talk about the establishment Republicans, what they're trying to do to Action for Liberty. We got to get into that a little bit. It'll be really interesting stuff, some insider info. Also on March 12th, the suspect asked QV or HHR, how old are you? The UC, so undercover cop, responded, kind of nervous to say, and then purportedly we revealed a few texts later, I'm 17, sorry, don't want you to be mad. You took issue with this because you're like, who the hell says to and be? Like,
yeah, so, like, Jesse and I were talking about it in the pre-show. Someone saying, sorry, don't want you to be mad. This is how a 40-year-old would talk if they were pretending to be like a teen. This is such a red flag
nobody
for
texts
me.
like that.
Nobody.
And to use the number 2 instead of typing out TO, but the undercover person also happened to use an apostrophe for the word don't. I mean, yeah, but if anything, this just proves how stupid and ignorant Eichorn is, and the fact that he was able to fall for this proves that, and the fact that he knows all of the lingo and all of the stuff surrounding prostitution. It's clear that this wasn't the first time, at least for prostitution, and it would be awful if he had engaged in this type of activity with minors before.
Hold on one second.
Breaking news?
No. Okay, so if I type in don't, it does autocorrect.
Yeah.
But if I type in I'm, it autocorrects as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so all over the place. It's like purposefully bad. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Also, pro tip, if you're going to be a predator, don't be a senator also. That's a big tip I've got for all you predator wannabes.
Yeah. You know, if you're going to be a predator, go ahead and just turn yourself into the police. How about that?
That's better, yeah.
The communications continued on March 12th and March 13th, 2025. However, no plans were yet set because officers were handling other suspects at the time. Makes you wonder how many came out of this. Messages sent during this time included discussion of the undercover's rates, her supposed age, and sex acts. On or about, I mean, would be more entertaining to post all that stuff in here, but we still got enough juicy stuff here. On or about March 13th, 2025, after again inquiring about the undercover officer's age, the suspect wrote, "Okay, will you send me a not pic of you to show me you're real?" The undercover officer responded, "What's naughty to you?" The suspect replied, "You decide." The undercover officer sent a photo depicting a clothed female's cleavage. The suspect continued, "Got anything with lot less clothes?" Once again, the suspect here is Senator Eichorn.
What a charmer.
What a charmer, yeah.
He's got a wife and kids. He pulled that, and now this is what it sounds like. That's crazy.
But I mean, I guess if you're paying for sex, you want to see the goods, right?
That's true.
It's like, oh no, I want to buy the car, but don't show me the car, right? Bad example. Bad example. All right. On March 17th, 2025, the suspect again. No, this March 17th is Monday, right? No, Tuesday? Monday. 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 St. Patty's Day. All right. On March 17th, 2025, the suspect again contacted the undercover law enforcement phone number. The suspect asked, "Hey, what's up? Are you available today?" The following interaction in part occurred. So I think he probably went home over the weekend and then came back on Monday for session, and he's already hot on. I mean, like, this does sound like this guy does this frequently, does it not?
Yeah.
Creepo. All right. Undercover cop. "Hey, babe." Suspect. "Hey, I would still like to find a way to meet ya and both feel comfortable. Where you located today, and would you be open to doing an out call?" So out call's got to be the opposite, meaning she comes to him, right? Oh no, it's specified 6. "Based on my training experience, I believe the term out call in this context refers to a service where the service provider travels to the client's location to provide services. In the context of commercial sex, an out call would have the female traveling to the party paying for sex." You would think you'd still get like some hotel or something. I don't know. All right. "Hey, I would still like to find a way to meet ya." Oh, did I screw that? Oh yeah. "I would still like to find a way to meet ya and both feel comfortable. Where are you located today, and would you?" Okay, I just read that. UC, undercover cop. "I'm available, baby. I have a private, discreet place in Bloomington. I only do alcohol after the first date." "Yes, we could do that. I'm sorry, babe. My phone has been super busy, and we hadn't talked for a while. How long are you looking to spend?" Suspect, QV or half hour. So that means 15 minutes or a half hour, right? So the undercover cop responds, $80 for QV or $120 for half hour. Go ahead. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Yeah, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, $5 Rumble Rand says, "Men in prison don't care if you are 17 or 40 either."
Fair
exactly.
point.
So, yeah, I mean, Justin Eichorn is in for a rude awakening. I'm sure he's still probably within the Hennepin County jail, but once he gets transferred over to prison, he is, things are going to be rough.
Amy asked how old are his kids. It's under 10.
I
right?
God, I don't really want to talk about it. I really do feel bad. That sucks for them. But yeah, young kids. And
Also, it looks like his website is down now.
good.
So
Good, because like literally when we went to the website, it's like his family plastered right on the front. He also had a social media post about how the 16-year-old girl, something, like
Basketball team.
Yeah, did well at state or something like that.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, here we go. Okay, and so Eichorn says, okay, and what exactly do you offer at that rate? Undercover cop. FS, so that's full service, no Greek, and bear is extra. Okay, let's go to this. In this context, the term Greek is a reference to anal sex. Sorry, I should have given it
Warning.
a warning here.
Yeah.
This show is not for people under the age
Of 7.
of 8. Yeah. So just if your kids are around, I should have warned you. I mean, we're going to be talking about adult content here. All right. In my training and experience, and based on the context of this investigation, bear is short for bareback, also known as sexual intercourse without prophylactic protection such as a condom. Wow,
25,
right?
$25 more dollars for that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Okay, suspect. Okay, what's your address? I'll see if I can get there. During this interaction, the suspect identified himself as a 38-year-old. He even lies about his age. He's 2 years younger, apparently. A 38-year-old white male. The UC reintroduced the topic of the undercover cop's purported age. Once again, I have to specify. There's not an actual person here. This is a sting, so it's someone, pretending. So in his imagination, it's someone that's underage. Undercover cop, a little younger than my ad. Is that okay? I just want to have fun and no drama, babe. Eichorn, sure, I don't know what your ad says because I don't have it up anymore, but as long as you're legal age, I am fine. Now, this is where it gets interesting, folks. Undercover cop, I am 17. Like I said, I don't want any drama, but want to be upfront because one guy got hella mad at me. Eichorn, why was he so mad? I think the age of consent is 17. When do you turn 18?
And
What's so funny?
Well, this proves how ignorant lawmakers are. The fact that he can't even research the own law that he wants to break.
No,
obviously
he does.
didn't.
Get ready for it.
Obviously, he didn't because he's being charged and he went to meet up with this person. He's under the impression that it's legal to prostitute someone under the age of 18. This guy is a moron.
It's so. What if he's like, she's like, I hope that's okay, and he's like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. I know. I'm a senator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Luckily, he didn't
So
say that.
stupid.
But the cops at this point probably know he is because I'm guessing they looked up his number. I mean, can you imagine? Hey, Chief, we got a hot one on this one, and it is a state senator.
You're gonna want to look at.
You're going to want to take a look at this. And he's probably like, which party this time?
Sorry, I cope with uncomfortable stuff like this with humor, so I'm not making light of it on purpose or anything.
I mean, once again,
Like, what do you do?
the only
This is
people I
crazy.
feel bad for here are his family. And I almost say we're talking too much about it as it is, okay? Because that sucks for them. And we're going to talk about the story today. It's unfortunate. This has to be known, and it's going to be out there. And we need to know the kind of creepos that are there. It's just his family's an innocent party, at least, I mean, we would imagine so. And I'm imagining it was a shock to his wife, find this out. I mean, can you imagine his life right now? Like, he's literally in jail. He's been in jail since then, no bail. He's facing federal charges, locked away for a long time. He's now resigned from office. No one's coming to his defense, except for the one guy we know. Just kidding. That's a total inside joke, by the way. So lost job, lost pay. Now he's going to be like in the hole for lawyers. Fucked over his, sorry. I need a swear jar. I really do need a swear jar here. Screwed over his family on this one and screwed over probably everything for the rest of his
And
life.
all of that for what probably would have been like 30 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
By the way,
blows my mind.
think about this. If it was just an 18-year-old prostitute, it wouldn't have been a story. But he's still living this bad life, which I think that's the real reason he should be not a senator. But we wouldn't even know about it. Isn't it interesting to find out, like, the skeletons? See, I like saying that because I know myself. Like, I know I don't have these kind of skeletons. I know I'm a pretty straight arrow when you think about it. But there's a lot of people that purportedly have traditional family values, and this is the lifestyle they live. Oh my God, the hypocrites. That's the old Norm Macdonald joke. I won't get into that. If you ever heard the one about, he says it to Jerry Seinfeld and Comic Skin Coffee. Have you ever heard the joke
I don't think so.
about Patton Oswalt said the real tragedy with Bill Cosby is he's a hypocrite.
Oh,
And I disagree.
yeah.
I think it's the raping. All right, sure. I
Then
don't
the
know what.
drugging, then the scheming.
Yeah, and the scheming. Yep. All right. So Eichorn then asks, why was he so mad? The other client was mad at the age. I think age of consent is 17. When do you turn 18? The undercover cop. I don't know. Laugh out loud. He was a creep anyway. I don't turn 18 till December. Suspect Eichorn. It says age of consent. So it looks like he looks it up at this point, which is true. If you look up the age of consent in Minnesota, it is 16. It says the age of consent is 16. Over 18 is in a position of authority over you like a teacher. He pretty much outs himself as somebody studied in law, doesn't he? Because he's like saying it says
someone that's looking it up. It's unbelievable that he would be texting like this, and it's so creepy. It's so ridiculous, and I don't even know what to say.
And by the way, what he's referencing is age of consent is 16. However, if you have a position of authority over a person, like you're a uncle, you're a coach, then you can't have sex with a 16-year-old for obvious reasons. You're using a position of authority, which could trick a 16-year-old. So you have to be at least that person at least has to be the age of 18. Okay, so he's well aware of that. He looked it up, that statute. What he didn't look up is the statute he's being charged with. All right. Around this point, the communication law enforcement provided the suspect with the address where the law enforcement operation was set to occur. The suspect asked for verification photo, writing, "Okay, how about a pic in just your bra and underwear holding up 2 fingers?" In my training and experience, this kind of request is common amongst people soliciting commercial sex in order to provide themselves with a sense of surety that that person they are planning to meet with is a real person of approximately the age and appearance of the person from whom they intend to purchase sex. The undercover officer provided the suspect with a map of the area and indicated on the map where the suspect should park. By the way, they didn't. You notice how they don't respond like that was ever sent to him? It does make him sound like he's so desperate he just goes there. But I almost wonder if they did. And then once again, Dawson, I hope it's AI. I guess they could look up some porn picture and it's an 18-year-old and they're pretending it's 17.
You could just do an 18-year-old. That's probably the easiest way to do it, I'd imagine.
I know, but imagine that still being used by law enforcement. It's a weird. That's why I talked about the front. Like, you have to have people in law enforcement doing things that are really uncomfortable to try to catch people like
At
this.
that point,
right?
it's like just use the image of an 18-year-old. Don't generate one of someone who's 17. It's like so minute how
Right.
And I look at this as the same way I look at bait cars. That used to be a TV show where people would put out a bait car, a car that is a nice car with the keys still in it, to see who's going to steal it, because the same people who would steal that car are the same people who would steal another car. And some people would say it's entrapment, but in reality, you're catching people before they're going to commit these horrible actions. So Eichorn in the same exact way, that it's clear that he had the intention to commit this. He was under the impression that he was going to commit this. And so considering that all of that, he's as guilty as they come.
And, okay, so the interesting thing is, who doesn't get entrapped on prostitution? People that don't do prostitution, right?
Can you imagine?
Who doesn't get entrapped on stealing cars? People that wouldn't steal a car.
Exactly.
So, okay.
You know who wouldn't get entrapped with storming the Capitol? people who would.
People got excited there.
Good one, Dawson. All right, thereafter, the suspect wrote, it is an interesting point, though. I don't want to get too off guard, but it is an interesting point. At what point do you push someone past what they would do? And we know this from rioting, that, this is a problem with rioting in crowds, is you get put in a position where you're thinking different than normal. We would imagine in a case like this, first of all,
here's the thing.
It's pretty obvious he's done this before, right?
Eichorn is not mentally challenged. If someone was mentally challenged in some way, you could make an argument that they were being entrapped, but he knew full well what he was signing himself up for here.
Right, but it was still cops that did it, right?
Right, but that doesn't really make as much of a difference. He had the intention of doing that. He was under the impression that he wasn't talking to cops. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been talking. The
only difference is there is not a actual victim in the present in this case. Okay, does that make sense? There's no victim here. This is a fictitious person.
I think that's the upside of this, though. Like, thank God there doesn't have to be a victim, but we can still get this guy off the streets. You know? So it's
you're right, because there's a chance there were previous victims which we'd hope gets accounted for and there's justice here, or that there would be future victims.
Mm.
Clearly, he's done this before by you just seeing the language he's using, but that could have been with 18-plus-year-olds, right?
I'm curious to see if they find more like previous encounters that were like actually done and stuff like that. That'd be interesting.
Okay, thereafter, the suspect wrote, "Just pulling in, come out, what are you wearing? I'll look for you." There was an interaction wherein the suspect stated he had arrived in the designated spot. Law enforcement then observed a white Toyota Tundra backed into a parking spot in the area designated in the image sent earlier by the undercover. Law enforcement observed a white male wearing a black shirt get out of the truck and walk around a lot on his phone. Do you think he had his Senate pen on? Just kidding. In a text message, the undercover asked, "Is that you walking in the black shirt?" The suspect replied, "Yeah." At approximately that point, marked law enforcement officers approached the suspect. Reports indicate the suspect was seen manipulating his phone and discarding in the vehicle as marked squads approached. Police identified the truck as bearing municipal license KGW 529 and arrested the male from the truck, later identified as Justin David Eichorn. Eichorn was arrested on suspected state violations arising in part from the conduct described above. Blooming police towed Eichorn's vehicle. During an inventory search of the vehicle, police located, amongst other things, 2 Apple iPhones, an unopened Trojan brand condom in the driver's side door, $105 cash in the driver's side door handle, and $24 cash in the center console.
He couldn't afford it.
Oh,
He
didn't even have.
He's just barely off for bear, unfortunately.
Yeah, he had $9 to spare after the half hour, right?
That's crazy.
All right. As of the morning of March 19th, Eichorn was in custody at Hennepin County Jail, which I believe he's still at. Okay, so he's pending federal charges. Now let's go to the Action for Liberty article you wrote,
Yep.
Jesse. And all right, go ahead.
Here, I got it pulled up on my end here. All right, here we go. So go ahead and scroll down a little bit, Dawson. This article I talk about what is exactly going on. That was the press release that was put out there that said 16 years old. So that maybe I should do a little updating on this. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit and maybe zoom in on that photo a little bit. I got this from the Hennepin County Jail roster, which is linked in there as well, so people can search that up for themselves. They can see that David Eichorn has been transferred from the Bloomington Police over to the Hennepin County Jail, that he was arrested by Bloomington, being held without bail. So that means that he cannot be bailed out at this time. Who knows if he even will be given a bail. And so, which it's just interesting to see that he has no bail as of now. I imagine that's probably typical of these types of cases. And also, as stated, that there were different reports on whether it was 16 or 17. And in here, I have the statute link that is he is in violation of. Go ahead and scroll up just a little bit there, Dawson. Scroll up the other way. Right there, MN statute 609.324.
This is where it gets interesting.
Go ahead and scroll down just a little
so
bit.
people understand, the age of consent in Minnesota is 16, and so that's a different part of state statute, okay? This is referencing prostitution. It says patrons, prostitutes, housing individuals engaged in prostitution, okay? So this is a state, I can't stress this enough, right? A state legislator interacting with what he believed to be a prostitute, literally looked up himself state law and got it wrong. Like, he was, I guess he just wasn't privy to the fact he was still breaking the law. It's just crazy to think about that, right?
Right.
Oh, K-Wall for Life says, looks like he was released from Hennepin County Jail at 10:44 today.
Oh, really?
Released to... Where did you find that?
That's what K-Wall said. Well, you'd see it if you go to Hennepin County. I'll look that up. You go ahead and explain this law here.
Yeah, go ahead and scroll down just a little bit there, Dawson. What we're looking at is C, the section C, whoever intentionally does any of the following shall be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 5 years or payment of a fine not more than $10,000. We're going to look at section 3 of that, which says hires or offers or agrees to hire an individual who the actor being Eichorn, reasonably believes to be under the age of 18 years old, but at least 16 years old, to engage in sexual penetration or sexual contact. And that's exactly what the messages show. Eichorn is clearly in violation of this law. He also has the federal charges that are after him, too. And under this law, Mary Moriarty, the one who is to the left of Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, who has said that Tim Walz is a, what did she say, a sexist, homophobic guy. So, that's who would have been prosecuting this case on her own, but now the FBI is further involved. It's just craziness.
Dawson, you can pull. Oh, looks like K-Wall put in there too, but I found it. Just the B3, I put it on the jail roster, and if you type in Eichorn, yeah, it does say he was released this morning.
Oh wow, okay.
You just type in Eichorn, you'll see it.
Does that mean released to?
And click on the number.
There you go.
7.
Oh, charged by U.S. FBI. Oh, it says released to other authority. No, I don't think he's out.
So that's what I was wondering if he
right.
was
It
transferred.
still says held without bail, so there is no bail for him to.
He's not out free. He just got released from Hennepin
But
County.
hold on, what's that say up there? Bail options, $75,000 bail
without CR.
Conditional release.
Mm-hmm.
CR.
But then if this is hold without bail, he's probably not getting out with bail.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that bail
is-
option is new to what I have seen on that website there. So I'm not sure.
Becky Hack says age of consent being 16 is disgusting.
Right. I agree. The age of consent needs to be raised to 18. We need to have very, very clear lines in the state of Minnesota. And, considering the fact that 18 is the age for you to be able to go to war, and 18 is the age of maturity in almost all other regards, 18 needs to be the age of consent.
Should 18 be the legal age to drink too? Why not? throw that in there?
Potentially. I've heard good arguments for several ages.
Definitely should be for firearms. Okay. I don't want to get into that discussion. That's a difficult discussion. By the way, Shane Gills has a great bit on that. Have you guys ever seen that?
I don't think so.
No.
You've never seen that bit?
Probably.
I don't want to take a comedic turn. I'll leave that for the post show. It's worth showing you. It's a good bit, but it's not an easy one, okay?
Yep.
Because a 16-year-old can definitely be sexually matured, right?
Yep.
Gone through, not everyone does at the same age, but can go through puberty, unless the leftist cult gets a hold of you and gives you puberty blockers. But they could go through sexual maturity. But
it doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter. The age is 18.
You're right, because eventually, can you make up your mind legally? And we believe they can't choose to smoke. We believe they can't go to war. So it's like, it does beg. But we do believe a 16-year-old can drive a vehicle, which could be deadly to some.
Well,
so it's not black and white. Although I tend to agree, it should probably be 18.
Yeah, we have to make it black and white. And interestingly, let's go ahead and pull up the A6, Dawson. This is a bill that I found that the GOP has out there. And let's just say Eichorn is probably very pleased that this bill never got pushed before this case has happened.
Truth Wins in Minnesota says you don't go to federal prison until you were sentenced. But no, there's federal holdovers too, right? This was brought up when we talked about that with the J6er.
Right.
He was in before he was even sentenced or even had a trial. He was held in St. Cloud. So there are different federal holding facilities. All right, sorry.
Yep. But so this bill here, they describe it as engaging in prostitution with minors, penalties increase. This is Jordan Rasmussen in the Senate. Go ahead and click HF 128 up there for companion. We can see who is on it in the House. Rarick, Engen, and Knudsen. Go ahead and click as introduced for the current bill text. Yep, right there. Let's see here. Go ahead and scroll down. I think we're going to be looking at that section G, or E. I can barely read that. Yeah, right where your cursor was at. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, yep, there we go. Whoever intentionally engages in prostitution with an individual under the age of 18 years old, but at least 16 years old, may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 10 years or a payment of up to no more than $20,000 or both. So Eichorn is extremely lucky that this had not been put into place, because then it would have doubled the sentencing charges that he could have been getting within the state. So he is very, very lucky that this didn't pass, but this is something that probably should pass, along with a raise to the age of consent.
No. You're wrong on that. No, because remember, he is guilty of. Okay, so this is the bill. So it's changing. Section C, subdivision 3. It's changing it now to 2. It's the one on the bottom. It says, because that's what he's found guilty of. Hires or offers or agrees to hire an individual who the actor reasonably believes.
Oh,
Remember,
right,
there's no
right, I
victim
see.
here.
Yep.
So they're just changing if there was actually a victim.
Right.
Because
Okay.
the law actually, Minnesota law, let's go back to the Minnesota law. This is actually an interesting thing. Minnesota law, I kind of think makes a little bit more sense, right?
Well, we haven't shown people the federal law. People can check that out too. We got that linked in here.
Okay, so yeah, I want to do that next. Okay, so the law, scroll up there, Dawson. It covers, okay, so engaging in hiring, agreeing to hire a minor to engage in prostitution. So the first section, A, covers a huge fine, 20 years or $40,000, and that's someone under the age of 14, right? That's almost like maybe you should throw the key away and they'll never see the
Death
light of day again,
penalty.
right? Which we don't have in Minnesota.
Right. we
Okay, then
should.
the second section, B, is if that person's 16 years, but at least there's under the age of 16, but at least 14 years. Okay, and in that case, and then by the way, there's 3 criteria. Number 1 is you actually did it with a person of that age. Number 2 is you offered to, but it didn't happen. Right? Did I get that right? Hire an individual. Agree. Yeah. So offers or agrees to hire an individual. And number 3 is basically what's the case here is you thought that the person, right? Because there is no person, right? This is a fictitious person, but you thought you were hiring someone, and that's where they get you. Which I would imagine you're probably getting a lighter sentence. But that is under Section B is only 10 years or 20,000, and the one here, because he believed her to be 17, he could be guilty up to 5 years or $10,000 fine. You see how they did it? And that kind of makes sense because I do think there is a difference between those ages, right? In many regards, so it's kind of agreeing with what you said,
Yeah,
Jesse.
I mean,
is
the
that
younger they are, the
18 should
worse
be
it
the
is.
age.
But it's, yeah, I mean, it's awful no matter what. So, I mean, I don't know if 5 years is enough in my mind. I'm glad the federal charges have been added.
By the way, isn't prostitution illegal in Minnesota? So what is it if you just solicit a prostitute over 18? Is it a
Yeah, I don't
gross
know.
misdemeanor? What is it?
You got to pay double what you paid for the
Service.
prostitute. That's not true.
They can confiscate the service. Jeez. Okay. Let's go to the federal law. This is A4. Okay. So he's facing up to 5 years, which I got to imagine people that are guilty of that entrapment, it's basically entrapment, right? Are not going to see that much of a penalty. In many regards, they should spend some jail time, and hopefully that scares these people straight.
Is it legally like literal entrapment? Because isn't entrapment like illegal and not allowed?
Well, technically there is entrapment that's in the legal code, but it's like one of those things where you kind of just.
So you're talking like he was entrapped,
And
not
the
legally.
Supreme Court is the ultimate authority, and the Supreme Court has allowed for these types of things to go on for a long time.
Okay.
So the Supreme Court wouldn't find this to be entrapment.
Let's look. Well, you know what? Screw it. Who cares? I'm not going to feel sorry for this guy, right?
Right.
I think it would be a big deal if they were like literally trying to entrap senators. Then it's politically charged. But I think what happened is they cast a net, and a senator ended up in it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's no good scenario here for Justin Eichorn. And once again, law aside, this guy should have resigned anyhow because who the hell he is and what are you doing as a family man and a massive hypocrite running on family values, and then you do this kind of stuff. Okay, this is where it gets to be a bigger deal. They'll go to A4. This is the federal law. This is Cornell law, which tends to come up when you're looking up U.S. code. This is B. He's being charged with this. Whoever, and I don't want to read all this preface because it's like using the mail or any facility means it's whoever. And we're just going to go right to what the meat of this thing. Whoever knowingly persuades, induces, entices, or coerces any individual who has not attained the age of 18 years to engage in prostitution or any sexual activity for which any person can be charged with a criminal offense or attempts to do so, right? That's where it comes in play, is attempts to do so, shall be fined under this title and imprisoned not less than 10 years or for life. Now, I think in this case, what they're probably giving him 10 years because there's no victim, and so he attempted to, right? And it's a 17-year-old. And I bet they throw the book at someone that does it, because this is anyone under the age 18, someone who actually uses a prostitute, that's 12, right? Because do we really want that person ever out again? It's like this whole thing, this like idea that this is a pedophile. Is he a pedophile? Pedophilia is like someone that's attracted to a person prepubescent. That's a real sicko. Now, I would still argue you shouldn't mess around with, especially when it's married, man, but you shouldn't mess around with someone that's 17. But there's a big difference from a sexually mature individual to someone that's prepubescent, right? And those people that are prepubescent, like literally innocent children, like you can't have those people out in the population. Now, can a guy, and I don't know the answer to this question, this show doesn't always have conclusions. Can a guy who probably this was and I don't know, it might not have been his one slip up, but maybe just like, well, that person's technically an adult, under the law. So is he a grave harm to children? I don't know. Probably not. But then again, I could see the other side of that argument. Just takes one time, and then it starts at 17, and then they go down to 16, and then they go to 15. So in that regard, man, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad. Maybe it does require stiffer penalties.
Again, the only time that I ever see people saying, "Oh, it's not pedophilia, it's aphiba," whatever the other weird philias are, it's like that's such a nothing defense. That's like,
right?
Like, are you kidding me? It's a 17-year-old, just a year older than a 16-year-old, and that's just a year older than a 15-year-old. Like, none of it's. I don't think that you can defend
right.
any of it.
It's a term to generalize, which I don't mind using it either. I think he's a pedophile, just as Amy Stevens is saying he's hitting a minor. Isn't that the definition? A pedo? And
no, a definition of pedophilia is someone who is attracted to somebody that is prepubescent, right?
It's like me calling something authoritarian communist. It's the same thing. It's like I'm talking about the same thing, and everyone knows what I'm talking about.
No, it's not the same thing. Because,
it is the same thing.
Here's why it's not the same thing. Because it's more disgusting to be sexually attracted to someone before they are of sexual maturity.
So I don't know where you're getting that definition, but the definition on Google Oxford Languages is a person who is sexually attracted to children. A 40-year-old.
Right. Well, what's a child? A child. I don't think a 17-year-old's a child.
A 40-year-old being attracted to a 17-year-old and wanting to have sex with them, that would be pedophilia, I think.
I agree. It's wrong.
Now,
okay, I'm not making an argument. It's right. I'm just saying.
A 19-year-old with a 17-year-old, that's not gonna. I wouldn't do it. That sounds gross, but like that is totally different than a 70-year-old who's doing it, or a 60-year-old.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me phrase it this way: a 40-year-old wanting to have sex with a 17-year-old's wrong. Okay, we all agree with that. Mm-hmm. But don't you think it's worse a 40-year-old who wants to have sex with a 10-year-old?
Sure, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
that's why the charges are worse.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I say. By the way, if you want to take pedophilia for all the minors, fine. But we should have another thing for the people that want someone that's prepubescent. Does that make sense? That's what I thought pedophilia was. Someone that was attracted to literally children. Because a 17-year-old is not a child. Right? It's just not legally adult, but they're of sexual maturity.
They're a minor.
So it's literally...
They're a minor, right. They're a minor. It's different than a child. Like someone that's attracted to a child, that's scary. Because, technically...
I think it's all
a 6-year-old can't really do much to defend themselves against an adult, whereas even a 17-year-old is more equipped to defend themselves from like a sexual advance.
No, I think that it's.
That's
all
why, like,
scary.
it's really bad when it's a young child.
I think it's all scary because, like, you're saying someone who is attracted to someone who is sexually mature. Some girls are sexually mature at like 13, 14. That's when they start going through. It's like that we can't allow for that. We can't allow for that age range to be okay just because they're sexually mature. No way.
Right. You need a hard line. 18 is that line.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I agree. Once again, I'm not disagreeing with the hard line in law. I'm just saying the terminology makes sense. Now, with that being said, I think the Democrats say pedophilia is anything under 18, right? Don't they say that?
I hope so.
Okay, right. Well, that's interesting. So, in other words, according to the Democrats, let's pull this up. What is this? Once again, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. A7. It was the Democrats who unanimously passed a bill last year. No, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. 2023. Yeah. Holy cow, time flies. They passed a bill 2 years ago that allowed the Minnesota Human Rights Act to categorize pedophilia, or people that are attracted to minors. Minor attracted people. What was the term they used?
Dawson, go ahead and go up to the top there. Click Gun Control and Pedophilia Omnibus Bill. And then go ahead and click SF 2909. All right, and let's see. Where are we at here? I want you to click SF 2909 at the top there. Okay, and then go to fourth engrossment for current bill language on the left side there. And now you're going to scroll down to section 47. So this is going to take a little bit of scrolling here.
Is this section 47?
No, actually the line is going to be 438. Oh. So you got a ways to scroll. It's 438.15. You passed it up. All right, there we go. So that is the section where the Democrats were getting rid of the part about pedophilia. So you'll see the very last line that is crossed out there says, quote, sexual orientation does not include a physical attraction or sexual attachment to children by an adult. That is what was removed from the Minnesota Human Rights Act, and instead it was replaced with that new language that has absolutely nothing to do and nothing to say about how pedophilia is not a protected sexual orientation. So the Democrats are not the ones who are protecting children in any case. The Democrats are the ones who want to mutilate children, and they also wanted to protect the pedophiles. And by removing this within the Minnesota Human Rights Act, a lawyer could reasonably argue, unreasonably argue, I should say, that they are protected under the Minnesota Human Rights Act for the pedophilia. That's unbelievable. That's not the kind of thing the Minnesotans asked for. The Democrats are so radical that they are more concerned with protecting the pedophiles than they are protecting children. So people should maybe take a screenshot of that right there so that they understand that that is the section to show people. That is where Democrats got rid of protections for children against pedophiles.
Well, technically, it was still illegal to. I just want to be specific on this. It's still illegal to act on your pedophilia urges, right? It's just that,
unfortunately for Mr.
Eichorn.
Wayne.
Yeah, it's just that now you can't discriminate against the Eichorns of the world because they are a recognized sexual orientation. Does that make sense? I don't want to confuse it.
Right,
It's still against the law. It's just that now, if you have those inclinations, which clearly he does, right? He knew she was 17. That you are protected by the Minnesota Human Rights Act. So there you go. Good job, Democrats. Congratulations. We still ask the question, why did you do that? Like, who was the constituency that was asking for that?
Finke.
Well,
it was Finke.
Most likely.
It was the trannies. And, of course, we all know that the trannies are much more likely to be sexual abusers of children than normal people.
Trannies are, or
yeah,
really? Is there a study behind that?
I could find one, but of course,
I've never heard that.
I would like to see that study.
Really? I mean, of course, these people are. It's like they're mentally
it wouldn't
screwed
shock
up.
me. I'm just.
Of course,
I'm not aware.
it's true.
You think it's more than like Catholic priests or something like that?
That'd be. I said normal people.
I wish Bridget was here. I just wish. Dawson,
regular
how
people.
Dare you.
Who?
All right. Let's go to the A5. So we watched the Minnesota Senate. By the way, Republicans said that they were going to expel Senator Eichorn today. And so we were all excited. Just go ahead and pause it. We were all excited at 11 o'clock to see how expulsion went because, the Democrats posted about how the Republicans have a guy that's basically a pedophile, right? And how terrible his crime is. And yet, Eichorn just got arrested. He hasn't actually gotten to trial. So this is how the senators, all Democrat senators agreed with Nick Frentz on this one, that they need their day in court. Go ahead and play this. This was during the expulsion of Senator Nicole Mitchell.
I oppose the Rasmussen motion. Mr. President, members, what do we stand for? What is the rule of law? What is the process? What about this institution? No member of the Senate has ever been expelled short of the resolution of the criminal process. Our Senate Subcommittee on Ethics has met, has heard the case, and has told us in their capacity as our voice on ethics, they want to hear the result of the criminal case first. And why, members? So they can know the whole story.
Okay, so I'm only imagining if it would have came up for a vote today, all 33 Republicans, no, I'm sorry, 32, because Eichorn wouldn't have voted on it. All 32 Republicans would have voted to expel Justin Eichorn, and all 34 Democrats would not have, and therefore they couldn't have expelled Justin Eichorn. They would have stood for the guy charged with soliciting prostitution from a minor.
Except for the fact that Democrats are not consistent. They don't use the same logic no matter wherever they go. They use the logic that is going to benefit them in the moment that they're in.
He hasn't had his day in court. We need to know the facts.
Right.
We can't judge him already.
Yeah, the Democrats don't care.
And once again, I might argue, it's a tricky one to argue because, he thought he was going to have sex with a minor, but there was no minor here, right? There was a fictitious person. In the case of I was going to say Judy Seberg, they all get confusing. Nicole Mitchell, there was a victim, and it was an elderly woman who she describes as suffering from Alzheimer's, who she burglarized and snuck into the bedroom of the sleeping elderly woman for God knows what. We don't know, but I'm just saying there are people that believe she was trying to physically harm that individual.
At that point, couldn't you say though the same thing? Like that nobody was hurt. Like she was burglarized, that's separate, but physically, like nobody was hurt.
Well, in that case, emotional hurt.
Yeah, in both cases, it's so obvious that both of them intended to commit crime, and both of them were, are off their rocker. So Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter to me. The bad ones need to go. So Eichorn and Mitchell should have both been removed today. And Mitchell should have been removed a long time ago.
K-Wall says there is body cam footage. Is there? That's not out already, is it? For who?
Well, there is
Mitchell
body cam footage of the Mitchell one, but it hasn't been released yet.
If it was for the new one, I want to see that one too.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, she was hurt. I don't know in what regard, but definitely emotionally. I mean, it was scarring for the lady. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so with that being said, the Senate started at 11 o'clock today, and they started out with a resignation letter from Justin Eichorn announcing to the governor he's resigning. Now, here's the thing. Does anyone believe Justin Eichorn called the governor's office from jail? No one believes that. What did Justin Eichorn do? He had a communication with Senate Republicans. All the Senate Republicans. I mean, leave it to Republicans in the state of Minnesota, the dumbest Republicans on the planet, to fumble this one. How about we get a test vote? You guys should have enjoyed expelling this member, right? How about we get a test vote? But no, they allowed a resignation letter to go to Tim Walz. So no Democrat now has to be on record for this very tough vote for them. Either they stay consistent and they protect this guy who really is not worth protecting, or they are complete hypocrites and didn't give the day in court to the Republican but give the day in court to the Democrat. We never get to know now. And by the way, I would suspect the reason we won't know is because the Republicans in leadership didn't really want to hurt their Democrat buddies. You have to remember, it is a uniparty. You know, when I was saying this in a pre-show, Jesse reminded me of something that happened many years ago when Senator John Kerry was the Secretary of State. And after committee hearing,
Republicans grilled him.
Yeah, Republicans are grilling him, and you can hear literally, I mean, this is just WWE, Lindsey Graham going up to him saying, "Good job. Go ahead and play this video. This is the A8. This is why we talk the way we talk. It's a show. These guys, the Republican and Democrats, it's really a uniparty. Now, there's people in those parties that aren't participating in, but the leaders of the parties, really, they get along just fine."
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Secretary, thank you very much. I thank the members for clear questions. We'll keep the record open to Wednesday for any further questions, and I would urge answers to them. But on a personal note, I wish you luck on your trip tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for trying. Like in any diplomacy, you have to go down a lot of dead ends before you hit the right one. Thank you for keep trying.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Privilege to be with you. Thank you.
Okay, here comes Lindsey Graham.
Let me know what I can do to help you with Boehner.
The mic is still hot. He says, "Good job. Let me help you out. Get you whatever he's trying to get with a Republican speaker." It's just a joke, guys. Now you could say, "Oh, that's just the U.S. Senate. It doesn't happen in Minnesota." You just have to look back to last spring when the Republicans and Democrats on the Ethics Committee, which were exploring what to do with Nicole Mitchell, and they end up retiring to a room, having a discussion, and then they merge, all unanimously deciding to table, forcing a resignation or a expulsion vote on Senator Mitchell. And then Truth Hurts goes and requests the transcripts of what happened behind closed doors, and they wouldn't give it to us. And they probably won't give it to us because they realize, hey, it's going to show that these guys really work together. But they pretend like they don't. Remember, didn't we have that video of
another
Bobby
example.
Joe Champion getting like some praise? Was it Jim Abler? Someone like praises him, like gives him like this high five after a session. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it might have been. I can't think of who it is. Jeremy Miller, maybe.
Could have been that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I can't remember who it was.
Okay, let's go to second section. So Sen District 60 will have a special election. Let's pull up the B1 real quick. This is what the district looks like. And by the way, this special election will be in April, and this person, the new senator, will probably be there right as the whole show comes to an end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the budget bills and omnibus bills come down. So it starts basically in the lower southwest in Brainerd. Then you go up through eastern Gull Lake, Nisswa area. Oh, look, Paul Gazelka can run again. Don't do it, by the way. Well, maybe he could get beat.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot says it was Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, I wish I had that
And
video.
yeah, Jeremy
ready to go.
Miller is, of course, on the Ethics Committee as well. He was one of the people that voted with the Democrats to I can't remember what exactly the vote was. It's slipping my mind, but there was a 3-1 vote where it was he voted with the Democrats and Andrew Matthews was the only one to vote against it. I can't remember what exactly it was. It might have been the release of that audio. Probably not, though. I can't remember.
No, it was
exactly.
the table the decision
right, to
on
table
Nicole
it. Right.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
I thought
that's right.
Matthews voted that way too, but I can't remember.
No, Matthews voted against.
Well, none of them want to talk about why it ended up that way. It goes up to Wabito. What is that, Wabito? Wabito
Wabena.
Township? Woodrow. Then it goes east all the way up to Reamer, and then goes over into Grand Rapids and Cohasset.
Is it this whole white area?
It's
Yeah.
this whole white area.
Holy crap.
And then going back southeast down to Cuyuna and Crosby.
That's really
Okay.
big.
Oh, Garrison. So it's on Mille Lacs. It's a big district. Really wide district. All right. So that district will have a special election. Now, if you live in that district and you think like us, let us know. We'd love to know. As the talk right now is Josh Heinzman's wife, Carrie Heinzman's going to run for that. Because, it always works out when you have a spouse in the legislature with you. Has that ever worked out? Can you think of one scenario where that's a real good thing?
Right, and they got young kids too. I mean, it's so that is not the way to parent. You'd think that you should at the very least have the mother with the kids as often as possible, and for both of them to be saying, we'd rather leave out on this and go to St. Paul all the time. That's not okay. They need to be putting family first, and so
I can't believe that's allowed. Like, legally, you probably shouldn't be able to have a spouse.
Well, they wouldn't be the first. Technically, there's we think they're married. We don't know. Rarick's.
yeah, Jason
Rarick in the Senate married Marion O'Neill. Now she
Right, aren't they
said,
claiming they live in different houses?
yeah. So
That doesn't make any sense.
That's the interesting one.
These people are married, but they don't live together.
Yeah, so his district is northern
And they're both
Minnesota.
Both Republicans. People
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
His district is northern Minnesota, so it's like we'll just say Hinckley. I think that's center of his district, and her district is Wright County, so west of the metro. So they're apparently married now, but they're representing two districts. They're not even like districts that touch each other. They're like 50, 60, 100 miles apart. Like what? But I guess who am I? Maybe they got a thing, but you kind of think, do they really spend that much time away from each other? Like, don't you think they live together? And if they live together, they're representing districts. That is actually an interesting case. Where are they living? And that actually matters because you have to live in the district you represent.
If they spend that much time together, I can kind of understand why someone would want to go and hire a prostitute to have sex with.
Yeah, try
And
not
just
telling
owning,
jokes here.
And just owning a property in a district doesn't give you the authority to be able to run or serve in that district. So, it would be interesting to know what the actual situation is.
O'Bannon says during session they share an apartment, so they do. Yeah, but the question is when they're not in session, where do they live? By the way, both are rhinos, just so you know. Like they're not like great voting conservatives here, so it's like we wouldn't really miss their vote. And both are in districts that are probably going to stay Republican. Certainly Marion's is, but Jason, that one flipped. But that one's trended more Republican. So, yeah, it's very – isn't it an interesting thing? Like, how does that one work out? But so this would be the second married couple. And at the end of the day, is Josh Heinzman's a terrible vote. I got to imagine she would vote the same way. Not that I have any personal animosity towards Carrie Heinzman, but that's the leading person right now that's planning on running. So – I think we could probably do better. You know, we certainly could do better than the current inhabitant. You know, so here we go. If you live in that district, yeah, I think you should run. If you can see where you live, are you okay?
If you can't see.
Oh, if you can't see where you live, are you okay?
Well, that just means you can't vote in it, right?
Yeah.
Special election. Do special elections usually have smaller turnout than a normal election?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll see what comes out of it. And considering that, he was from Grand Rapids, so the very northern part of his district there. So, it's going to be interesting. Maybe there's going to be someone who's a little more central to the district. And, it's pretty crazy, though.
Carrie Heinzman is
Yeah.
a racist homophobe.
That's an interesting comment. I don't know if Carrie Heinzman is a racist homophobe. I don't know anything
Alleged.
about that.
I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Bill Dangston is going to bat for Mr. Whatever his name is. Eichorn.
All I know is I would imagine she votes like. What if she voted way better than her husband, though? Wouldn't that be funny? We go, that rhino Josh Heinzman, but Carrie Heinzman's a Liberty champion.
Well, I feel like that would
I don't
end
think
up...
that would happen, by the way.
That would end up being like some kind of foreplay, right? So I would say...
Oh, God. All right, let's stop now. This has gone the wrong way.
I saw your vote today, babe.
Oh, man, she hates the case. Oh, man. Needless to say, I think it's a good district for a true patriotic conservative to run in.
This
That's
is a
the
deep
point I'm trying
red
to make.
district. There is not a chance that the Democrats are going to win it, just as there was no chance for Republicans to win in 40B, despite all the lies that were spread. So, this is a deep red district, and Republicans have nothing to worry about on it. The only thing that needs to take place is, Walz will schedule the date of the special election, and like you're saying, they probably won't be put into place until towards the end of the session.
Okay, last segment here. So what the hell did what if Heinz was involved in the setup? Is BDC 1450? What if
Wow, it was a ploy.
I don't think so. That'd be really high level. All right, so what did Wall say about MAGA? Let's play this video. This is trending. Of course, we enjoy talking about the real macho, masculine man.
And of course,
Mr.
he goes
Coach,
to
Tim Walz.
Gavin Newsom, another manly man, right? Another governor who has destroyed his state. As if these are the two who should be talking about masculinity. So, yeah, go ahead and play it here.
How do you fight it? This
I think I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if it wanted, I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place. Where
Yeah.
I don't think you can outrun them either. I just like, you think you could kick most of their ass, the MAGA community? There are people in the MAGA community you probably could. I'm guessing if I was putting money on it, the majority of the MAGA community could kick your ass.
Yeah.
But by the way, I'm not even part of the MAGA community, but let's go ahead and say I am. Name the date and time, Tim Walz. Give me a place. Let's do it. Let's get sanctioned by Minnesota. What is it? What is the fighting commission? Whatever the fighting commission is, Minnesota. Let's get sanctioned. Let's do it. Or Jesse. Jesse's got a wrestling background. He is MAGA. There you go. Do you think you can kick Jesse's ass?
I'm definitely
Tim
not
Walz?
afraid of Tim Walz, and since I've seen him in person wearing the Dump Walz T-shirt, I'm obviously not afraid of him. And so, it's funny for him to put these kind of things out there. It's obvious that he is just trying to cover his tracks because he knows how feminine he came out. K-Wall for Life says jazz hands threatening to beat up people is hilarious. Exactly. It's we all saw what Tim Walz was polling, and the fact that he was Kamala's VP and. And this is the media. They were the ones who were saying Tim Walz and Doug Imhoff are redefining masculinity. Hell no, they weren't. It didn't work out for them. They thought that they could, try to feminize us. and then tell us that this is what we want, this is what men want. I don't think so. There's a reason why they lost so badly. And, I'm fine with Tim Walz continuing to push this crap because he's just going to lose in 2028. And another thing that's interesting about him and Gavin Newsom doing that show together is the fact that they are both likely people to be running for the presidential office in 2028. Is it possible that the two are going to team up together? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. They have both been proven as these establishment henchmen who are puppets, who will do whatever they're told by their party bosses. So, considering the fact that they seem to now have a friendly relationship, it's just it's something to keep on our radar. Tim Walz is he's desperate for attention. He wants to pretend like he's tough, and he talks about being a football coach. Have you ever seen him throw a football? I don't know if I ever have. That's one of his biggest parts of his persona. Has anyone ever seen him throw a football?
It is interesting. I mean, why would you? But there's an infamous video of John Kerry.
Sean Hannity does it like every night on Fox News. He always throws a football at the end of his segment.
Yeah, but do you see where it goes?
Probably to a cameraman.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Dawson, Google John Kerry football. There's this infamous picture. Now, granted, I think the football was coming in the sun, but still, it's like, John Kerry, what are you doing here? You're a politician. You're not. You don't
a couple good comments here. Amy Stevens says Caitlyn Jenner says that he is more masculine than Tim Walz.
It's true.
Probably
it's funny.
true. More testosterone.
No, literally, Caitlyn Jenner wrote that. I retweeted it. It's so funny.
And Tucker91 says Walz couldn't outrun Chris Christie. Probably true.
Especially if there's donuts at the end of the line. Or Krispy Kremes. Go ahead. Google John Kerry football.
I'm working on it. Krispy Kremes would be great if they were in Minnesota still. That'd be really cool.
They came out the wrong time. They came out during the Atkins diet, the no carb diet.
And also one last thing I want to say on Walz too.
Come on, where is this?
The people
Kerry,
who
Kerry.
Yeah. But the people who want to talk about fighting like that are always the people who can't fight. They're always the guys who are all talk. And of course,
a good point.
Tim Walz is he's never going to get in a fight. He's the governor. He's not going to get in a fight. It's all talk. He knows that he couldn't back it up, but because he's the governor, he doesn't have to back it up. It's all just talk.
First of all, I said Google, not YouTube it. I don't know if there's a video. Boy, we're just not in sync today. John Kerry football.
What are you looking for?
There's an image. I said an image. Right there. See that one?
Catching a football one?
Yeah, I see that one on the top to the right. Actually, looks like there's a bunch. There. Right there. No, go back up. Right there. That's like his infamous picture from back in 2004. There's another image where he was like goose hunting.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more phony.
They had cameras.
These people, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
That is like,
that's what would happen to Walz. I mean, he talks about football.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him actually play football. I mean, there's no way he's got any athleticism left.
Maybe that's it. We challenge him to a decathlon, okay? All right, so we will add fighting into it. We accept your terms. Number 2 will be throwing a football. I would bet a lot I could throw a football further than him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's distance, maybe it's accuracy. I don't know.
Right.
We'll do one of the two, but we'll throw a football around. We'll see that. Mm-hmm. Number 3's got to be operating a shotgun. Shooting and operating a shotgun. That'll be number 3. What else would go in our decathlon? I would love to hear you. Maybe we'll talk about that in the post show too. Okay, here's why you want to join the post show if you're a premium subscriber.
He's gonna have to take his tampon out to compete in this thing. No need for tampons for men.
Oh yeah, that's it. No, you know what? We should definitely do some of the. What was that? The warrior tasks. What do they call that in the Army? Warrior. There's like 40 tasks for warriors. Whatever that is. Just pick any one of those, Tim. Mr. I carried weapons in war.
How many pull-ups do you think he could do?
Number 4.
One. Do you think Tim Walz could even do a single pull-up if he was
no,
if there was a bar in front of him? I doubt it.
O'Bannon, number 4 is line dancing. No, he probably beat me at that one.
Yeah. And also, Tim Walz, it's so funny that he wants to act tough because who was he during the VP debate? That's who he was. He was a deer in headlights. He was so scared. He was afraid of JD Vance. So we're supposed to think that he thinks he could, beat up MAGA. I mean, you crumbled on the biggest stage of your life. Yeah. What makes us think that you have the ability to, with all that, with all the adrenaline going, that he would be that he would be tough? He's such a joke.
I don't even think he could beat Justin Trudeau, who's literally boxed before.
Probably not.
Another politician, by the way.
Yeah, he can't even beat the Democrats.
Funny. Boy, that'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. I shouldn't talk much about it because it does sound bad. You know, I guess you could take it as violence, although he started it. By the way, he's also celebrating the demise of Tesla, which is interesting. You know, as Tesla's literally getting vandalized.
The environmentalists seem to love that these Teslas are being put on fire. It's ridiculous.
Okay, post-show. Something going around. This is interesting stuff. Some insider information about a threat. The establishment, what they're doing. You're going to want to hear this. So if you're a premium subscriber, you know what to do. We'll be in Locals Live in Locals in a minute. If you're not a premium subscriber, you can go to truthhurtsnews.com, click on support us on the top, or you're on Rumble, you can click on join us. You'll want to hear this. Maybe we'll finish up our decathlon. And we had one other topic. I can't remember what it was. Hopefully it'll come to me. But we'll do that in the post show. We couldn't do this without Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty. If you're looking to buy a home or sell a home, give my good friend Warren a call at 612-419-7453. If you're looking to buy a home, give the good guys at John Galt Mortgage a chance at financing that home. Go to johngaltmortgage.com, and brought to you by Alpine Country in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Thank you to our Rumble rants up there. I remember his failed candidate, and was it Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, I believe. We'll see all the premium subscribers in 1 minute. For everyone else, oh wait, Tuesday we're gonna have a gubernatorial candidate and his lieutenant governor candidate.
Yep.
That'll be an interesting one. We've had Brad Kohler. I like Brad, but like, Brad, you run for everything. Like, dude, like, what?
It's the shotgun method.
I don't. Yeah, like, you're not gonna win, but
Something
all right, we'll listen him out. And he's already announced lieutenant governor candidate. So here we go. But I like Brad, just individually. Some people shouldn't run. I don't know, but maybe he can convince me. We'll have him in studio. That'll be fun. So that'll be on Tuesday. Premium subscribers will be there in 1 minute. Everyone else will